I used to smoke cigarettes, and I've put out a bunch of videos on this channel across my TikTok and Instagram about why it's bad, what it does to you, and all the other bad things it does outside of possibly giving you cancer and killing you. But I eventually overcame that addiction. It took many tries. It was, to this day, the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And it was like the first time in my life where I was trying to do something and my willpower wasn't actually allowing me to do what I wanted to do, because I've never had a problem with that in the past. If I wanted to do something, I would just go do it. If I didn't want to do something, it's very easy for me to just not do it. But when it came to nicotine, it was very difficult. The reason why I'm telling you this is because I eventually overcame this problem, I beat the addiction, and I fixed my life. And today, as a realtor, years later, I've made tons and tons of content about quitting smoking, dropping your vices, and all of these other things. And I can't tell you how many times, whether it be an agent who wants to join my team, or my downline, or buy my course, or just a client who wants me to sell their home, how many times somebody has chosen to do business with me, and the first thing that they say when they call me up is, "Hey, I watched that video that you put out on quitting drinking," or "I watched that video that you put out on quitting smoking, and I used to be a smoker myself," or "I just recently quit drinking and I'm sober now as well." Basically, I got the business and I built that relationship because of the fact that I had dealt with the same problem as them and had found the solution. So in hindsight, I had a problem. I then monetized it by sharing the solution to that problem that I found with other people. So in hindsight, I had a problem. I found a solution to that problem. And then I monetized the solution to that problem by sharing it with other people that have the same problem or had the same problem. The market for realtors, at least where I operate out of in Vancouver, Canada, has been absolute hell for the last 2.5 years. Realtors are exhausted, burnt out, making absolutely no money. And, I've found amongst speaking with many, many realtors in my local market that mental health is becoming a pretty big issue over here. Lucky enough for me, my business is established enough to the point where I can still make decent money in this market, although my expenses are substantially higher than they were last year. I'm still experiencing the burnout just like everybody else, the exhaustion. People are more difficult to deal with because it's tough, right? People are dealing with depression and all of their own issues. And as realtors, we kind of take on that baggage ourselves when we deal with them in the home buying process or the home selling process. And for a lot of people, them selling that home might be the cause of all of that stress and stuff that they're dealing with. And just overall not seeing the amount of progress that you would have liked to see this year. At least that's what I'm dealing with. I would have liked to see a lot more progress this year than what I'm currently seeing. But the way that I'm looking at this entire time period is that just like the cigarettes and the drinking, this will just be another story that I can tell on another podcast, on another Instagram reel, in another YouTube video, in another TikTok video. This entire period of my life will just be another problem that I eventually find the solution for, that I can eventually share with somebody else that will, they will maybe resonate with that problem because they're going through it right now, and maybe they'll want to come join me at Real and join my network, and I can monetize it that way. Or maybe I take bits and pieces of the solution and I put it into a course and monetize it that way. Or maybe I go get paid to talk on a stage somewhere, and that's part of the presentation of me when I'm talking on stage. Every time I encounter a problem within my life, I just look at it as another tool that I can add to my arsenal that I can then monetize later. Every single time. And the thing about it is, like, when things are going well, there isn't a lot of problems that you have to overcome. You're winning. Everything's going well. There is very few problems. But when you go through times like this is where you pick up the most monetizable tools, because you have to be constantly solving problems. All real estate is right now is problem after problem. When you understand that every single business is built on solving somebody else's problem, every single one, then you realize that the solution for pretty much any problem is monetizable, because you can sell it to people who have that problem. So today you're struggling and you have a whole bunch of problems. Excellent. Now you have the opportunity to find the solutions to those problems. If you weren't struggling, then you're likely not coming across any problems at all. So I'll give you guys like a near perfect example of what I'm talking about here, right? So in the last couple years, 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐒 has completely exploded on social media. I remember following this guy back in 2017. He had like no followers. He was making like crappy YouTube videos without a proper camera or anything. And now today he has like hundreds of thousands of followers. The thing that 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐒 talks about the most is the fact that he lost everything in 2008 and had to go back to roofing. So now when this guy talks about the housing market, how it is today, what agents should be doing, how they should be feeling, and where he thinks it's going, people listen because he's already solved the problem of going through the worst housing crash ever and coming out on the other side as a multi-millionaire. Now he can talk about how bad things are and how positive he is on how bad things are. People will listen, people will resonate with that because everybody's feeling just as shitty as he felt in 2008 when he lost everything. So he took something that was really bad. He turned it into, he eventually solved that problem, although it took him like 6 years. And now he can basically package that story and give it to people as the solution. And he's, I'm gonna guess probably making a lot of money off of just that story alone right now. So I just wanted to share this with you guys, is that every time something gets difficult, every time I come across a problem, I just view it from the standpoint of this is a problem that I'm going to find the solution for that I can then later monetize somewhere on in my career. I hope this helps. Please subscribe to the channel. If you want help launching your social media, I've just recently launched a course on that and I'll drop the link below. The Viral Agent. I know I have like 500 subs on this channel, but I have 80,000 followers across all other platforms. So I do know a thing or two about social media. Otherwise, subscribe, like this video. I'm that 𝐎𝐒𝐄𝐒. I'm making moves to move you. Peace.